Hello and welcome to the special edition of India Today Global. I'm Geeta Mohan. The US president continues to thunder that there would be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. The death toll of this war has crossed 1,000 in the first week, and it surely doesn't seem anywhere close to an end. 7 decades ago, the United States of America and Iran were once close partners in West Asia. It's a fact hard to digest with the ongoing war. The two countries descended into full-scale war this time, marking the explosive culmination of decades of mistrust, sanctions, proxy conflicts, and failed diplomacy. What began as a strategic alliance in the 1950s was shattered with the 1979 Iranian Revolution. Here's a report that traces the turbulent history from 1950 to the present conflict.
USA and Iran became close allies after the 1953 CIA-backed coup that ousted popular Iranian Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh. Mossadegh was the man who had nationalized Iran's oil industry. America helped in reinstalling Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi as a pro-Western monarch in Tehran. The US provided military aid and nuclear technology under the 1957 Atoms for Peace program, laying groundwork for Iran's atomic ambitions, and in return, it secured access to Iranian oil. Through the 1960s and 70s, American presidents Eisenhower, Nixon, and others treated the Shah as a bulwark against Soviet influence, selling advanced weapons and overlooking his repressive rule. US President Nixon's Tehran visit in 1972 promised unlimited non-nuclear arms sale, cementing the unfettered US support. Iran's role in OPEC boosted its economy. But the Shah's White Revolution, modernizing reforms, sparked domestic unrest from clerics and leftists. This, over the next 2 decades, sowed the seeds of revolution. The 1979 Iranian Revolution toppled the self-crowned monarch Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. He and his family left Iran to live in exile. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who branded America the Great Satan, returned from exile and was elevated as the Supreme Leader of Iran. Revolutionaries stormed the US Embassy in Tehran on November 4, 1979, seizing 52 Americans in retaliation for the Shah's US medical treatment. The 444-day crisis humiliated President Jimmy Carter, whose failed rescue mission killed 8 servicemen. By April 1980, US President Jimmy Carter broke off diplomatic ties with Iran over the hostage crisis.
No act has so galvanized the American public toward unity in the last decade as has the holding of our people as hostages in Tehran. We stand today as one people.
The hostages released coincided with Ronald Reagan's 1981 inauguration under the Algiers Accords, which froze ties and imposed oil sanctions. Khomeini's theocratic rule changed the dynamics of the relation of the two nations forever. Jimmy Carter's successor listed Iran as a state sponsor of terror in 1984. Iran was in the middle of a bitter war with Iraq. America seemed tilted towards Saddam Hussein, with intelligence and dual-use technology, despite his chemical attacks on Iranians. Iran's backing of Hezbollah led to the 1983 Beirut barracks bombing, killing 241 US troops, the deadliest day for Americans since Vietnam. But what came next was the most controversial twist in the relationship. The infamous political scandal of Iran-Contra that exposed Reagan officials secretly selling arms to Iran for hostage releases, diverting funds to Nicaraguan Contras, violating embargoes and eroding US credibility. And then in 1988, a US warship mistakenly shot down an Iranian passenger plane over the Gulf, killing all 290 aboard. The proxy war between Iran and the USA continued unabated. Post-Cold War, successive US presidents layered sanctions on Iran. The 1992 Iran-Iraq Arms Non-Proliferation Act and 1996 Iran-Libya Sanctions Act targeted oil investments and technology transfers. George W. Bush's 2002 Axis of Evil speech shattered detent amid revelations of Iran's secret Natanz nuclear site.
States like these and their terrorist allies constitute an axis of evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world. By seeking weapons of mass destruction, these regimes pose a grave and growing danger. They could provide these arms to terrorists, giving them the means to match their hatred. They could attack our allies or attempt to blackmail the United States.
US officials accused Tehran of operating a secret nuclear weapons program. The new millennium only ushered in greater fissures in the relationship between Tehran and Washington, D.C. Other than Natanz, in 2009, Britain, France, and the United States announced that Iran is building a secret uranium enrichment site at Fordow.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President. All the best wishes.
USA elects President Barack Obama to the Oval Office. In 2012, he delivered a sanction ultimatum on foreign banks if they failed to significantly reduce imports of Iranian oil. Iranian oil sales drop, sparking an economic downturn. US and Iranian officials began secret talks, which intensified in 2013 on the nuclear issue. That year, Hassan Rouhani gets elected as Iran's president on the promise to improve Iran's relations with the world and its economy. Barack Obama's 2013 call to Hassan Rouhani yielded the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Iran curbed enrichment for sanctions relief, extending breakout time to a year.
Today is an historic day. It is a great honor for us to announce that we have reached an agreement on the Iranian nuclear issue. With courage, political will, mutual respect and leadership, we delivered on what the world was hoping for, a shared commitment to peace and to join hands in order to make our world safer.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend
The Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
But then 3 years later, when Donald Trump came to power in his first presidency, he withdrew from the nuclear deal in 2018. citing missile threats and regional meddling, reimposing maximum pressure sanctions. On 3rd January 2020, a US strike killed Iran Quds Force Chief Qasem Soleimani near Baghdad. The Pentagon said Soleimani was actively developing plans to attack Americans in Iraq and the Middle East. This prompted missile retaliation on the US bases in Iraq, along with proxy attacks via Houthis and Hezbollah.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. do solemnly swear
That I will faithfully execute.
that I will faithfully execute the office.
With a regime change in the Oval Office, Democrat President Joe Biden tried to improve US-Iran relations. In 2021, US and Iranian officials started to hold rounds of indirect nuclear talks. Joe Biden's Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action revival stalled after Ibrahim Raisi's 2021 election and 2022 Mahsa Amini protest. Where women, life, freedom chants challenged the regime. Iran aided Russia's Ukraine war and Hamas's 2023 Israel attack, drawing US ire. Finally, in August 2023, Iran and the United States agreed to a prisoner swap and the unfreezing of $6 billion of Iranian assets in South Korea.
We're going to see they cannot have a nuclear weapon. With me, it's very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. We don't want to be tough on Iran. We don't want to be tough on anybody, but they just can't have a nuclear weapon.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Trump's 2025 re-election mixed threats and talks with envoy Steve Witkoff. While White House tried to rule Iran in, things started to spiral out of control fast.
No, they won't be enriching. If they enrich, then we're going to have to do it the other way. And I don't really want to do it the other way, but we're going to have to enrich. What's your latest? There's not going to be enrichment.
God willing, it won't come to that, and the talks will yield results. But if they don't, and conflict is imposed on us, the enemy's losses will undoubtedly be greater than ours. In that case, America will have to leave the region because all its bases are within our reach. We have access to them, and without hesitation, we will target all of them in the host countries.
Israel struck Iranian nuclear sites on June 13, 2025. US B-2 bombers hit Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan on June 21st. A ceasefire was reached only to be breached soon after pushing the US president to the brink.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Iran was once again cornered. External pressure, sanctions spiked inflation in Iran. Mass protests erupted in December 2025 over economic collapse, with regime crackdown killing thousands. The American president issued a warning to the Iranian regime to stop escalation of violence against protesters.
If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
Nearly 2 months later, finally on February 28, 2026, US-Israeli epic fury targeted scores of sites, killing Khamenei, ending his 37-year rule. Iran retaliated with missiles on Israel and Gulf allies, closing the Strait of Hormuz and spiking oil prices, threatening the world order for decades to come. Bureau Report, India Today.
Iran and Israel once shared a strategic alliance under the Shah, marked by oil trade, military cooperation, and mutual enemies like Arab nationalists. The 1979 Islamic Revolution dramatically reversed this, turning Iran into Israel's fiercest ideological foe through proxy wars, nuclear tensions, and direct clashes, culminating in recent open conflict, or what we're looking at as war.
Iran was the second Muslim majority country to recognize Israel after it was formed in 1948. Under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, Iran recognized Israel after Turkey, despite initial UN votes against the creation of Israel. Both nations allied against common threats, including Egypt's Nasser and Soviet influence, with Israel viewing Iran as part of its periphery doctrine to counter Arab states. That was the period when economic ties flourished. Iran supplied oil to Israel via the Eilat-Ashkelon pipeline, bypassing Arab boycotts, while Israeli firms built infrastructure in Iran. El Al flew direct Tel Aviv-Tehran routes, and trade included arms and intelligence sharing. Military collaboration peaked in projects like Project Flower for missile development. Israel owed Iran nearly $1 billion by 1979 for oil and ventures. This remained unpaid amid later hostilities. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini's Islamic Revolution in 1979 ousted the Shah and established a theocratic rule in Iran. It also severed all ties with Israel. The Tehran embassy became the Palestinian Liberation Organization's outpost, and Khomeini branded Israel the Little Satan, an enemy of Islam, rejecting its legitimacy. This shift stemmed from ideological opposition to Zionism as imperialism, support for Palestinians, and anti-Western sentiment. Pre-revolution Islamists like Taleghani had criticized Shah-Israel ties, but Khomeini institutionalized this hostility. Between 1980 to 1988, during the Iran-Iraq War, covert dealings persisted, briefly with Israel selling Iran $500 million in arms via Operation Sea Shell to counter Iraq, including TOW missiles and F-4 parts. Once the Gulf War was over, overt enmity between the two countries grew. Iran funded Hezbollah's formation in 1982 against Israel's Lebanon invasion, leading to the 2006 war where the IRGC aided rocket attacks on Israel. Iran backed Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and Houthis in the axis of resistance. smuggling arms via Sudan and Syria. Israel intercepted them regularly. Events like the Buenos Aires embassy bombing revealed Iran-Hezbollah understanding. Israel responded with covert operations as well. Assassinations of nuclear scientists from Iran, Stuxnet cyber attack damaging Natanz centrifuges, and airstrikes on convoys in Syria were Tel Aviv's response to Tehran's action. In the second decade of the new millennium, nuclear tensions escalated as Iran's nuclear program became existential for Israel. Khamenei called Israel a cancerous tumor, while Ahmadinejad's rhetoric fueled fears. In 2013, Israel struck Syrian sites and Iranian assets, including Parchin explosions. Iran plotted attacks on Israeli diplomats in India and Thailand. The decade-long overt operations prepared the ground for direct confrontations. By 2024, Gaza war spillover intensified as Israel hit Iran's Damascus consulate, killing IRGC generals. Iran launched 300-plus drones and missiles. Israel assassinated Hamas's Haniyeh in Tehran and Hezbollah's Nasrallah. October 2024 saw Iran's second direct missile barrage. Israel retaliated on Isfahan defenses. In June 2025, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
The war continues, and this time it threatens to spill over, reaching India's backyard. Once allies, now arch rivals, have for sure changed the world order for decades to come. With that, it's a wrap on this special edition. Keep watching India Today. Goodbye and take care.